In a lot of ways, we approached Halo 3 as picking the best of the best. It's all the things we loved about Halo 1, the things that we really liked about Halo 2, and really trying to deliver the ultimate end-all be-all Halo experience.
The main decisions behind multiplayer design in Halo 3 are really about ultimately keeping what's good about Halo and keeping that in, but also taking things that maybe didn't work out as well as we anticipated, or maybe things went in a different direction in Halo 2 and making those things better.
The beta has 3 maps available. The first one's called Snowbound. It's sort of a smallish map, I think ideally aimed for about 6 to 8 players. It's really good for free-for-all style gameplay, things like Oddball, King of the Hill, of course Slayer. Then we have High Ground. High Ground's an asymmetrical map. In a lot of ways sort of takes some cues from Zanzibar in the sense that you have a fortress with a defensive team trying to repel a bunch of offensive guys who spawn on the beach. That map is really awesomely designed for team objective games, but it's still fun for all the other game types. And the last map's Valhalla, and that's the biggest map in the beta. That map plays great with anywhere from 8 players on up. Really epic sort of classic CTF battles, lots of vehicle encounters. I think in a lot of ways it's the quintessential Halo experience, and I like to talk about Valhalla as like the spiritual successor of the classic Blood Gulch.
In terms of the design changes for the maps for Halo 3, I think we're basically just taking the approach of, what we learned from Halo 1 and 2 and just in implementing that in our maps. Like in terms of 16 players, we are going to have some maps that totally, hopefully they'll blow your mind. There's one thing that I can't talk about, but you guys will know about it pretty soon, and I think it's going to basically set a new benchmark for Halo 3.
Visually, a lot of work's still being done. We're really happy with where Halo 3 is at right now in the beta. It's got a very vibrant, unique art style. That's the way Halo has sort of always been portrayed. With single player, I think you will see some differences. The goals for both of the games are a little bit different. In multiplayer, it really has to be about visibility, about quickness, about balance. In multiplayer, we don't want to have things like blinding auto exposure when you come out that suddenly make you a vulnerable target, or areas that are so dark you can't see your opponents in. In single player, we can be a lot more moody. We can actually be a lot more dramatic, and I think you're definitely going to see some moments in single player that I've seen that are just absolutely gorgeous. It's all looking fantastic, but some single player stuff we can get away with a little bit more than we do in multiplayer.
One of the new things in Halo 3 is the idea of the support weapons, and it's basically a new class. And what happens when you pick up a support weapon is you go into third person. So you'll notice when you pick up or when you enter a turret, you'll actually get a prompt to remove that turret, and you rip it off, and then the camera stays third person, but you're walking around. So another weapon in that class is the missile pod, and you'll see that on Valhalla when you play in the beta, and that is devastating against vehicles. It's a lock-on device, similar to the lock-on of the rocket launcher in Halo 2, but we've kind of broken those two things apart. So the missile pod is this really nasty support weapon, and the rocket launcher has kind of gone back to being what it was in Halo 1. You're going to be seeing 5 pieces of equipment in the beta. That's not the total number for the final game, but you're going to get a small taste of what's there. There's going to be the bubble shield, trip mine, portable grav lift, power drainer, and actually I think that's all that we have access to. There might be one more in there that I'm totally spacing on right now.
We're never ceased to be amazed by what people do with the game, and I think, in a lot of ways, that's what really made Halo 1 so successful, was just the sandbox and the variety. When people started making videos just about physics and blowing stuff up and launching warthogs over mountaintops. With Halo 3, I think we're starting to see a lot more of that. I think we have more tools at your disposal. We have more things you can do. One example that we've seen where in the office we use the portable grav lift strictly as an offensive means of getting over the wall into the base, and we had some guys from the outside come and play, and their first reaction was to carry it with them inside the base, grab the flag, and then use it to escape the base. And meanwhile, the gate was still closed, so no other defenders could even get out. I would definitely say the jump pad can be used for more than just jumping over walls in an offensive manner. The guy's getting ready to run you over with a mongoose. You throw a jump pad down. It's awesome to watch that mongoose go flying over your head. By the time the guy knows what's happened, he's probably going to be dead.
Well, there's one thing that happened in the Microsoft internal beta that we hadn't even thought of, and it's just people combine equipment. So you'll see somebody actually throw down a grav lift and then drop a bubble shield on top of it, it'll actually raise up onto like an elevated platform to protect someone, for instance. Or someone will throw down a grav lift and then drive a mongoose through it and jump over the entire wall on high ground. So there's all these things. Like Halo is just this crazy sandbox that everything just works together. So you try these things and they just work. We don't even necessarily anticipate them sometimes.
Ah, yes, the man cannon. It's super hard to do, but we actually have pulled this off in real-life game scenarios where there's conveniently, there's some fusion cores located right above the man cannons on the Valhalla, and if you get lucky, you can knock them off into the chute, and if it lands on top of a fully loaded Warthog, you can actually take them out. And I have done that, but unfortunately it was my own teammates, but it was still kind of fun.
I think the first thing people usually try and do, and we've noticed this when we've had press play the game, is they try and drive a vehicle through it, and of course you can. So, anything that is physical and interactive, you can use with the man cannon. So, you jump into it, you can actually toss grenades, and grenades will be influenced by it. They'll actually fly way out.
And even today, for the first time, somebody actually was experimenting with picking up a weapon and dropping a spare gun in there and sending it out to reinforce their midline defense. Yeah, the bubble shield is one of the equipment offerings that we have in Halo 3, and we kind of teased that last December in the Starry Night TV ad where, Master Chief in full CG glory threw the shield down. Everybody was like, what the heck was that? That we were sort of planting the seeds back then. The shield basically, once you pick it up, you activate it by pressing the X button, and it creates a temporary impenetrable shield around the player. You can't shoot out, but they can't shoot in. It's really great in the pinch or if you're trying to capture a territory, something like that. Once the shield's up, nobody can actually attack you, so obviously their next choice is to charge because you can actually walk through it. So a lot of times it's kind of fun to sit inside the shield with a shotgun and just wait because the range is about perfect. So the second they get inside the shield, it's usually a one shot and they're dead. But with Halo 3, your spare weapon is now exposed on your back. So a smart opponent will recognize that and not come inside the shield. They'll wait for the shield to drop. Also, the bubble shield can be super useful in a lot of different scenarios, especially in territories. When you're trying to capture that territory, nothing better than you and two teammates held inside an impenetrable bubble. It's a great way to sort of capture a territory as well.
There's one new vehicle available in the beta, and that's the human ATV. We call it the Mongoose. I'm sure a lot of people know about this. It was kind of talked about quite a bit that it didn't make it into Halo 2. It's in Halo 3 now, and it's awesome. It's a nice counter to the Warthog actually, because it's small, it's fast, it's zippy, it can get you around the map really quickly, and you can throw a guy on the back, so it's really good for flag returns or just getting somewhere else in the map really quickly.
Yeah, the assault rifle was really something that Jamie, our design lead, really has been working hard on. With Halo 2, it turned into a game about dual wielding where everybody had an SMG and your immediate sort of first thing you want to do when you start the game was grab another gun that you can dual wield because, an SMG is not that, it's pretty much useless, right? So we used to call internally, sort of before it was really the assault rifle, it was called the ultimate spotting weapon, or USW, and we didn't really know what it was going to be or how it was going to look, but the goal was to make a weapon that you would spawn with that was fun, it was effective, it was fair, but not so powerful that it turned into a game about headshots like the Halo 1 pistol, but not so weak that it turned into a game about dual wielding and sort of the pray and spray mentality that a lot of people have talked about for Halo. So I think that's really how the assault rifle came to be, and then it just kind of made sense to make it modeled after the original classic gun. It just sort of all fell into place. Most of the Bungie team would view the Halo 1 pistol as a broken weapon because really it's overpowered, it's not balanced, and I've had as much fun as everybody else sniping people in Blood Gulch for hours on end, but I think it was a really one-dimensional aspect of the game, and it turned the game into nothing more than pistol headshots, and I think for that matter, a lot of us we don't love it as much as we know a lot of the fans do. Yeah. Hey,
I'm Lars, multiplayer designer at Bungie, working on Halo 3. It comes out this fall for the Xbox 360, and Halo 3 is gonna rock your ass. I don't know what else to say, but it's just gonna be awesome. You guys are gonna love it.